Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be here today to film this video because I feel like it is a very important video to be filming in this crisis time that we are in. So everyone's freaking out about the coronavirus and spreading it and all of those things, and I am here to share with you a few tips and tricks on how to keep you, your client, and your kit safe and clean. So these are things that I've been doing for several years. So I just wanted to share them with you. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, you guys. So first of all, my name's Tracy. For those of you who don't know, I'm a hair and makeup artist in the upstate New York area, and I have my own beauty business as Tracy Catlin Beauty. And yeah, I do hair and makeup for mostly weddings is my main business. So I wanted to share with you guys today a few tips and tricks on how to keep your kit clean, yourself and your client, so everyone can be as safe as possible. With everything that's going around right now, the whole COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, things can get a little crazy. There's been cancellations and all of that. So if you are going out to weddings and stuff, I just want to make sure that you're being as sanitary as possible. Honestly, I wouldn't even go to a wedding probably right now with the chance of spreading germs or anything like that. In our business, in our industry, we do work very close with people and their faces, obviously. So I feel like it's just not a safe environment to be in this current state. So not because you yourself may be a risk to get it, but spreading it to others that could be at risk for it. So just practicing that safe distance and doing everything that we can to stop the spread so we can hopefully get it under control. We'll see. So I wanted to show you guys my disposables thing. First and foremost, this is what I carry my disposables in now. I did just recently get this off of Amazon. I will link it below. So I keep all of my disposables in here. This is updated from my most recent What's in My Kit video. So I just got this. It was from another makeup artist that had shared it, and I loved the way it was set up and everything was all contained. Before I had it in like a little plastic, like a few plastic little containers that had little slots for them, but I liked this better because it was all in one and it's nice and compact and everything. So I am going to just share with you what I keep in here. So up in this slot right here, I keep my cotton swabs, my like little facial cottons that I use to cleanse their face with. Q-tips and disposable sponges. I keep a mask in here at all times just in case I am sick or they are sick and we can prevent any more sickness. I also carry alcohol swabs, and these are just my lip containers, my sample lip containers to give them. I have little pots, and then I also have little liquid lip containers to give them a sample of as well. My disposable wands. I have all of my beauty puffs, my alcohol, my brush cleaner, which is Cinema Secrets, and a little mascara tool, and then my disposable lip wands are right down here in this corner. So these are just all of my disposables. And then up here I have some like lash tweezers, lash glues, bigger scissors, my airbrush cleaning tools, a little clip, and then an eyelash curler. So I just keep those up at the top portion of it. Right now, that's how I have it organized anyway. Obviously, the most important thing that you can carry in your kit is 70% alcohol. I mentioned this in one of my other videos. I don't even know if it got uploaded. Anyway, 70% is the key. Let me explain this to you. So they sell different percentages of alcohol. You can get 90%, you can get 99%. You might even be able to get lower than 70%. 70% is the magic number. The reason being, 70% is the right amount of time that your products need to disinfect. So the higher the alcohol percentage, the quicker it's going to evaporate. So you need the alcohol to sit on your products for X amount of time so it can actually be disinfected. If you get a higher grade alcohol, it's going to evaporate quicker, therefore not sanitizing it properly. So I'm going to show you how I use this. I'm just going to use my brow palette because it's right here. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Palette, and I'm going to show you guys how to disinfect your powders. all pressed powders should be disinfected this way. So you take your 70% alcohol and you don't spray your palette like that. That's not disinfecting it. That's doing nothing. So you want to make sure that you are spraying so it saturates the product and you can see it evaporate like that. So if you're not actually spraying it so it's wet and then letting it evaporate, it's not disinfecting your product. So that was a little overkill, as you can see, but you want to make sure the product is saturated. So if it's not saturated, it's not actually disinfecting / sanitizing your product. So now it's like a little wet and you want to make sure you leave it opened to evaporate and whatever. It doesn't take long for it to evaporate. You can obviously wipe off the alcohol that's surrounding it. And then you want to make sure you leave it so you're not closing it wet. You want to make sure you leave it open to disinfect, sanitize, do all its goodness, and then close up shop. So I just want to make sure that you're sanitizing your powders properly so that we're not contaminating our kits, we're not spreading infection, germs, all that fun stuff. So you want to make sure you're doing that with your eyeshadows, your brow powders, your blushes, your highlighters, anything that's a pressed powder. If you have setting powders that are pressed, powder foundations, anything that's not a loose powder, you want to be disinfecting, sanitizing this way. And then to sanitize, well, to keep your cream products sanitary, do not, I repeat, do not dip brushes or anything into cream palettes. So I have the RCMA one, I have this one. You scrape. Do you see how there's no fingerprints? There's no brush prints. You scrape the product. You do not dip a brush into your cream products. That is a big no-no. So you want to take a spatula. Any spatula. I know there's one in here because I just put them in here. Okay. So you can get a stainless steel spatula off of Amazon. I will link some below if you don't have any. I'm sure if you're a professional makeup artist at this point, you do have some. But you take your spatula, you scrape some product, you put it onto your stainless steel palette here. I have a couple of these always in my kit. Here's my other one. So I keep a larger one always. And then I keep this small one too. I honestly probably use this small one more than I use the bigger one. But you want to have stainless steel palettes. You do not want to have plastic palettes. Plastic palettes are porous. They can absorb germs and all of that gook. So you want to make sure that you are using stainless steel palettes, stainless steel spatula. You scrape, you put it on, you can disinfect this afterwards. So we've gone over pressed powders. We've gone over cream products. You want to be scraping everything that comes in a container. So you do not want to be putting any sort of brush or anything besides your sanitized spatula into a product that could contaminate it. So lip glosses. You always, lip glosses, liquid lipsticks, you always want to be sure you're using a disposable lip wand. Or if you have like a palette, like I have a lip palette that's in one of these view sets, you can use this and you can scrape the product out and put it onto your palette and then mix and do all your mixing and whatever on here. Occasionally I will use the back of my hand. Again, my hands are washed and sanitized prior to even touching the client. When I get to a job, I set up and do everything, and then I will wash my hands. When the client comes over to my chair, I sanitize. This is my little sanitizer that I keep on hand in my kit. It says hand sanitizer. I sanitize my hands. I sanitize their hands because I have them put a couple products on their face. Not a lot of makeup artists do that. Some do maybe. I usually have them put at least their lip balm on their face. So I want to make sure their hands are clean, my hands are clean before anyone's touching anyone's face. So I have sanitizer always in my kit. Alcohol and hand sanitizer, they will always be in my kit. So we sanitize our hands and then we go on to putting on their skin prep products and whatever. I do work a lot of times from here, but like I said, I will occasionally work from the back of my hand. But it is also clean. I also scrape my lip balm, my lip exfoliant, eyeshadow primer, like my MAC paint pot, I'll scrape that out with my stainless steel spatula. You never want to be dipping brushes of any kind into products. Only your eyeshadows and powder products that you can sanitize. Cream products, I've heard some people say that you can spray them with alcohol. I don't really trust that to work and effectively, so I would not do that, but to each their own. The next thing I wanted to talk about is pencils. So how to properly sanitize mechanical and sharpenable pencils. So I have two here. One is a Marc Jacobs nude. It can be tricky, and what I will usually do is if once I use it on them, I will wipe it. A lot of times they break when I wipe them, so honestly, there you go. And then I also spritz it with alcohol, so I'm not contaminating it. So I will like wipe it on a clean paper towel and spritz the whole thing with alcohol and then let it evaporate and then put the cap back on it. With sharpenable pencils, you can spritz it with alcohol so you're not contaminating your, also I clean this too though, so you sharpen it and then spritz it with alcohol, let it dry, and then you can also recap it. So you're keeping everything sanitary and clean. So you're sharpening it, getting all the gook off from your prior client, and then you're sanitizing it with alcohol. So these you spritz. Think of your state boards. Think of when you took your state boards. Pretty much everything you did there is what you want to actually be doing. I know a lot of makeup artists that do not use these safe sanitary practices, and it irks me to my very core. So keeping everything sanitary is so important, especially in this industry. When you're working so close with people and such important events, you can't just cancel if you get sick, you know? So you have to make sure that you're staying healthy, your client is healthy, and your kit is healthy. So we invest tons and tons of money, okay, in our kits, as you well know. So we want to make sure that we're keeping it safe and sanitary so we can keep that kit and not have to chuck everything. So I can't even imagine having to lose everything in my kit. I love this like it's one of my babies because I've built it for years and it's really at a really good place. So I want to keep it safe and sanitary. The other thing I always carry in my kit are Clorox wipes. So I carry these for a number of reasons, obviously, but I always like to have these on hand to wipe off counters if I need to before I put my kit on there. I always put a towel down before I place products on anything anyway. But if the counter just looks a little dusty or anything, whatever, I like to sanitize it beforehand. You could use these for anything. You could use these to, you could probably use those to like sanitize your stainless steel palettes if you needed to, or just to wipe off your products. A lot of times, obviously our eyeshadow palettes and stuff will get dusty or dirty or whatever. I did recently just clean mine. It looks dirty up here because it's black and it stains. Anywho, I like to clean these with like Clorox wipes, so cleaning the outside of them, making sure they're just nice and presentable and nothing's like shattered or broken or anything like that. So I like to keep things really nice and clean. It just makes you look a little more professional as well, so you're not coming with like a hot mess kit. So we just want to make sure that we're, you know, being as professional as we can be and as prepared as we can be. So I feel like if everything is clean and organized and neat, it just helps you be more prepared for each job that you go to. So washing your hands is obviously first and foremost what you want to do before you start work. It's not always an option, let's be real. So if you are in a barn, for instance, I've done several weddings in barns where there's no sink to be found. You at least have your hand sanitizer. So always have hand sanitizer at the very least. And sanitizing in between clients is super important. I do hair and makeup, so I know when I'm doing hair, I desperately need to wash my hands. So usually I will do all the makeup first and then do hair. It just depends on scheduling and timelines and whatever, but if I had my way every time, I would do hair first. Makeup first and then do hair, because if a sink, especially if a sink isn't available, normally you will probably have a sink. A lot of hotels you go to or anything like that, you'll usually have a sink, but it's not always going to be the case. So you just want to make sure you always have hand sanitizer, if nothing else. And you want to put a good amount of hand sanitizer on. Some people put like this little amount on their hands, and no. You want to like be washing your hands with sanitizer, so your entire hands are wet and then they themselves will dry. Obviously, that's how the alcohol works. But you want to make sure you're like saturating your hands and not just putting like a dab and rubbing them in your face. You want to make sure the ins and outs and crevices in your nails and everything are clean. That's the other thing. So washing your hands, there's been a huge thing all over everywhere on how to properly wash your hands. And 20 seconds is the recommended time that you wash your hands. So you want to be lathered up and washing your hands for 20 seconds and also be cleaning under your nails. Now my nails are a hot mess right now, so don't mind that. And my nails are also very short right now, but even with short nails, you need to be cleaning underneath your nails. I'm also a nail tech, so this is very important to me. You can buy those little bristled brushes at the dollar store. So please invest in a bristled brush, clean under your nails, make sure suds and soap is getting in there. If there's no lather or soap suds to your soap, it's not cleaning you. So if you're using one of those gel soaps and you just kind of wipe it around and there's no lather, you're not actually cleaning your hands. So you want to make sure that the soap suds are there and you're cleaning under your nails, because that's so important, especially for my girls who have acrylic. I love having my acrylic nails on, but you also need to make sure you're keeping them clean. So the brush is incredibly helpful for that. So making sure you're keeping your nails and your hands clean are like 101. Another big one, and I've seen so many makeup artists do this. Oh my goodness, please don't do this. So I always use a gel liner. 1, for sanitary purposes. 2, it works really well. I use the Inglot gel liner. It's my personal favorite. It's the one I always use. You can scrape it, put it on your palette, put it on the back of your hand, wherever. And I will a lot of times use the Duraline with it to make it a little more liquidy. You can use little thin brushes to kind of get like that really nice precise line. You can use really tiny thin brushes. These are like my go-to favorites by Wet n Wild. P.S. Love these brushes for liner. I am starting to venture into the more thinner brush though. So if you guys have any favorite thinner liner brushes, let me know. I want one, like this one is by, oh, this one's just from e.l.f. I want one that's like super fine and precise. These are what I keep my brushes in. This is what I'm like going to. I want one that's like this, but like super fine. This one's not as fine as I would like it to be. You always want to make sure that you are using a pot, or you are dipping maybe one of these or something, or like getting your, if you want to use like a liquid liner, get it out onto your steel palette and use it that way. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot be putting liquid liner. Let me give you a for instance. You cannot be putting this onto someone's eyeball. Big no-no. You can't put this onto someone's eye, put it back in here, and put it back in your kit and use it on other people. That cannot happen. The eyes especially are any orifice that you're going to be using makeup on, whether it be the mouth or the eyes. Those are the biggest spreaders of germs, obviously. So you cannot be reusing liquid liner on multiple clients. No. So use a pot liner like the Inglot ones, like MAC has one. Maybelline is a really good one from drugstore. Any pot liner, you scrape it out, you put it on the back of your hand, you put it on your stainless steel palette, and you use it that way with a brush. You can use the Duraline to make it a little more liquidy, and you're golden. It works perfectly. And they come in all different colors. Inglot has a billion different colors. They have white, they have different colored ones, they have brown. I personally just have brown and black in my kit, and then I have pencils for any other like white or nude or anything like that I want in like the waterline or whatever. So that was a big one. Mascara. I have seen other makeup artists use mascara, actual mascara from the tube on clients. The only way I will ever do this is if it's the last bit of the tube. I always use mascara wands and I will dip it in and put it on, but you always get to like that last use. And I will explain to my client, this is never been used on any other single sole, and I am only using it on you because it's the last little bit and you can't get it out with a wand, but why waste it, right? So I will do that, but that's it. You cannot reuse mascara on more than one person, or liner or brow gel. Anything that comes in like this, you have to use a disposable wand for. Lipsticks, the same thing. You have to use a disposable lip wand, which we already touched on. I feel like I'm definitely forgetting something. Obviously, cleaning your brushes in between clients is a must. If you aren't able to actually physically wash them with soap and water, you need to have a really good brush cleaner. My personal favorite and a lot of makeup artists' favorite is Cinema Secrets. I keep this little one in my kit at all times. In addition to having, I have a spritz bottle filled usually, and then I bring this as a backup. So Cinema Secrets is my go-to brush cleaner. It's my favorite. It's 99.99% bacteria free, quick drying, rinse-free formula, and it cleans them really, really well. So I absolutely love this, but you do need to make sure that you are saturating your brush with it and wiping it off really good to get all that product and all the germs and everything off, and then let it evaporate the rest of the way, which is the bacteria killing part of it. So you need to make sure that you're doing that. Or what a lot of makeup artists have been doing recently is using one set of brushes per client, which I could totally probably do. I have a ton of brushes. What makeup artist doesn't? I haven't separated them out that way yet. I may start doing that. They've told me that they keep them in separate baggies, like A to Z, like foundation, primer, whatever, to liner, in one bag per client, and just kind of break them up that way. That way you put them back into the bag, you bring them home, you wash them, so you don't clean them in between and reuse them on the same job. Not a lot of people probably will be able to do that, maybe. So we'll see. I don't know if I will do that, but it is a great way to do it if you have those means to do that and have enough brushes and everything. So obviously making sure that you're washing your brushes with a really good soap and water at the end of the day, and making sure that you have them ready for the next client / job. If you guys have any questions about this video or about sanitizing things in general, please leave them below and I will absolutely answer all of your questions. And I can even make a part 2 to this if you guys want. So let me know and I would love to do that for you. Other than that, I think that's it. I will get this video up as soon as I can so all of you guys can be keeping your kids and yourselves safe and healthy. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful, blessed week, and I will see you in my next video. I love you.